My girlfriend messaged me saying she found someone else and wanted nothing more to do with me. I calmly responded, as you wish, and proceeded to block her on all platforms, cutting off financial support as well. A week later, her lawyer tried desperately to contact me. I am a 31-year-old man who started a logistics consulting business in my mid-20s with just a used laptop and a lot of anxiety. The initial years were tough, with 80-hour work weeks and frugal living. However, after landing significant contracts a couple of years ago, my business became highly profitable. I live a comfortable life thanks to my hard work. For the past 3 years, my life included my girlfriend, Kayla, who was working as a receptionist and aspiring to become a fine arts curator. She lacked the connections and financial means to pursue her dream. I was captivated by her passion and believed in her aspirations. At a time when I had the means to support her, I encouraged her to leave the job she disliked and focus on her art history studies through unpaid internships while networking. I provided for her rent in a stylish, art-inspired apartment downtown, $3,500 per month. Co-signed the lease for her Audi A5, $800 monthly. Financed her wardrobe, organic groceries, and art supplies. I entrusted her with 2 credit cards without monitoring their statements, as my profession as a consultant revolves around managing details for others, and I prefer to trust in my personal life. On our 3-year anniversary, I had made reservations at a restaurant she had wanted to visit for months and gifted her a lovely sapphire necklace. However, upon returning home early to surprise her, she was not there. That evening at 7:15 p.m., I received a text from her stating, "Kayla, I found someone else. I want nothing more to do with you." After investing in her entire livelihood for 3 years, those 7 words brought an end to our relationship. Feeling overwhelmed and staring blankly at the screen for what seemed like ages, I was initially struck by a wave of disbelief that hit me like a physical blow, leaving me breathless and hollow. For a moment, a flurry of questions raced through my mind. Why? Who? What had I done wrong? However, a strange sense of cold clarity suddenly washed over me. The blunt finality of her words, "nothing more to do with you," like a harsh but clear gift. She had drawn a line, making it abundantly clear that she wanted nothing to do with me. So I replied with a simple 3-word message, "Me as you wish," before silencing my phone. As I opened my laptop, a methodical part of my brain took control. It was as though I had switched from being a partner to a consultant. The issue at hand was a terminated, non-binding personal arrangement, and the solution was clear: to sever all associated financial ties. I promptly accessed my banking portal to remove Kayla as an authorized user from both credit cards. The system confirmed that the deactivation was immediate. Moving on to the car lease, which was co-signed in my name, I accessed the auto finance portal to address that aspect of our financial entanglement. I was unable to cancel it immediately, but the upcoming payment was scheduled for a week later. I disabled the automatic payment for the apartment lease that was under my name. After locating the rental agreement PDF, I discovered that the break clause required a 60-day notice and a 2-month rent penalty. Though frustrating, it was a straightforward process. I composed a formal email to the property management company referencing the break clause and copied my personal email for documentation. Moving on to other matters, I reviewed and updated various streaming and subscription services like Netflix, Hulu, Spotify Family, the gym membership, and the meal kit delivery. I removed her account details one by one and even initiated the process of removing her from my family plan and phone line, which took about 45 minutes. Upon completion, I felt a sense of emptiness. I packed an overnight bag, left her necklace on the kitchen counter, and decided to stay with my brother Luis to avoid any potential encounters as she returned for her belongings. There was no communication from her for the rest of the week, confirming the silence as acknowledgement of the situation. I assumed she was gone. Busy as she was, her card must have finally been declined at a crucial moment on Friday afternoon. The series of texts I received started off with pleas, then confusion, and eventually turned into anger. I read the messages but chose not to respond. However, a week later, I received an urgent email with the subject line regarding Kale Vance. It was from a partner at a downtown law firm, stating that he was representing Miss Vance and needed to speak with me immediately about what he described as the abrupt and malicious termination of established financial support. It seemed that my simple "as you wish" response was not the end of the conversation she had expected. Update: I took the advice provided in the comments on my original post, which helped me stay grounded. This past week has been an eye-opener in terms of audacity. Following the advice, I decided to hire my own lawyer. My dad has worked with Mr. Phillip for years on business contracts and recommended him. Mr. Phillip is sharp, no nonsense, and after hearing about the situation, he looked at me over his glasses and said, "Well, son, it appears you've encountered a new species of predator." Mr. Phillips started reviewing the case, and the text ends abruptly. Email from Kayla's attorney, Mr. Bobby, was met with amusement by Mr. Phillips. He found the term malicious cessation to be akin to an angry toddler throwing a tantrum, suggesting that it was more bark than bite in legal terms. In response, Mr. Phillips promptly clarified that as the clients were never married and no shared assets, the voluntary gifts were terminated by Miss Vance herself. He asserted that any further correspondence should be addressed to him directly. Rather than demanding $75,000 as anticipated, Mr. Bobby proposed a confidential transitional support settlement in a formal letter. The letter referenced Kayla's supposed significant career and emotional investment in the relationship, blaming the abrupt withdrawal of support for causing her professional setbacks and emotional distress. The proposal included continuing to cover Kayla's rent and car payments for 6 months, with details left unfinished, to avoid a lengthy and public legal battle. Mr. Phillip advised parting with a $20,000 sum. He described the situation as a shakedown and suggested completely ignoring it, letting them spend their money. Pursuing the lawsuit in this matter would be considered malpractice, he warned. However, the real drama unfolded when consequences began to emerge. Property manager of Judith's old apartment called frantically on Saturday, reporting that Judith's ex-girlfriend Kayla and her new boyfriend Russell had shown up demanding entry. Judith refused, pointing out that Kayla was not on the lease. Kayla caused a scene, claiming her life's work was inside. Russell threatened to make things difficult, but Judith calmly directed him to the no trespassing sign. Shortly after, a text was received claiming ownership of items inside the apartment, including an internship portfolio needed urgently for a review. The text mentioned a payment issue at the auto dealership. The co-signed car is a shared responsibility impacting both parties' credit. It's not wise to neglect it. My credit remains solid and capable of withstanding a late payment that I plan to address. Russell, a trusted figure in real estate, is disappointed by your behavior and warns that your tactics are futile. Instead of engaging, I saved all correspondence and forwarded it to Mr. Phillip, who was pleased with the update. Following legal intervention, further communication will be handled by the appropriate channels. The latest deceitful act came when a mutual acquaintance shared a screenshot of Kayla's private Instagram post, portraying me as an abusive partner for discontinuing financial support. Mr. Phillip, in response, is preparing a cease and desist letter to address the slanderous claims. This situation underscores the importance of seeking justice for false allegations. To retrieve her belongings, I must arrange for 2 neutral movers to be present, along with her lawyer. This time, I am ensuring there is a clear inventory list in place. She seemed to believe she could easily replace me and retain all the benefits, but I am taking steps to prevent that. Update 2. Unexpected developments have arisen in this saga. The move-out did not go as planned, and the aftermath of her actions is causing unexpected repercussions. The scheduled move-out on a Saturday morning turned into a chaotic situation. Despite my preparations, hiring the movers, having an inventory list, and confirming her lawyer's presence, complications arose. Just before the appointed time, one of the movers informed me that she, accompanied by a gentleman, had arrived early and insisted on starting without their lawyer present. Panicked, I contacted Mr. Phillip, who advised me to instruct the movers to wait for his arrival. Unfortunately, the movers, perhaps attempting to be accommodating, allowed access before he arrived. Helpful had already ushered them into the building lobby. When Mr. Phillip called Mr. Bobby, who confirmed he was running 30 minutes late due to being stuck in traffic, I became suspicious. Sensing a setup, I informed the movers to hold their ground and only move personal boxes for the next half hour. Kayla and Russell attempted various tactics to persuade the movers, including asserting they were part of Russell's hired crew and even attempting to manipulate the situation by feigning vulnerability. The situation reached a boiling point when it came to moving the furniture. Kayla claimed ownership of expensive items like the custom bookshelf, ergonomic desk, memory foam mattress, and 65-inch OLED TV, insisting they were gifts and belonged to her. Ignoring their demands, Kayla and Russell even tried to move the TV on their own. It was at this juncture that the professional movers I had hired demonstrated their worth. The lead mover, a formidable figure, calmly intervened, stating, "Those items are not listed on the approved inventory for personal effects. Please refrain from moving them." Responding with defiance, Russell challenged, "Who are you to give orders? Please select only the items listed on the inventory." If you attempt to take anything else, I will have to contact the police, the mover stated firmly. Just then, Mr. Phillip entered the room. Without raising his voice, he presented receipts for all the furniture, confirming the items belonged to the speaker. He informed the individuals that attempting to take property not listed constituted a breach of agreement and threatened to file a police report for attempted grand larceny if they did not comply. Feeling defeated and angry, they left with only the boxed items, leaving the mess behind. The landlord later charged $1,200 for damages, which Mr. Phillip promptly forwarded to Mr. Bobby along with the mover's incident report. The speaker's revenge was ultimately left in the hands of public opinion. Recall to use the hashtag #SurviveWarPost. Kayla was an unpaid intern at a respected small art gallery in a tight-knit art world. Leslie, a junior curator whom I knew casually, came across the post. Knowing me well, she recognized the accusation of financial abuse as false. Feeling appalled, she shared the post with another colleague. The word quickly spread. The post portrayed Kayla Vance, the intern who appeared to live luxuriously without a job, as someone who was casting unjust aspersions on the man who supported her financially before she left him for a real estate agent. This portrayal painted her not as a survivor, but as someone lacking seriousness and being toxic. The gallery director, who highly values the institution's reputation, discreetly informed Kayla last week that her internship would no longer be a good fit. The repercussions have now extended beyond financial implications to her reputation. Surprisingly, I didn't need to take any action. In a final update, I'm sharing this one more time for a simple reason: to assert control over the narrative. #SurvivorPost. After the unexpected sharing of the original post, I decided to share the full true story as a final word before closing this chapter for good. Following the last update, a period of calm ensued. I donated all the furniture from the apartment to a charity helping families in need, marking a symbolic final cleansing. Taking care of the lease break penalty and settling the last utility bills severed the remaining ties. I fell into a routine of work, gym, and dinners with my brother. The initial anger ebbed away, leaving behind a scar, but also a valuable lesson. The resolution to the situation came from two sources. Firstly, my lawyer, Mr. Phillip, received a final letter from Kayla's lawyer, Mr. Bobby, in response to the bill for damages and incident report. Mr. Phillip's response was succinct and decisive. He issued a formal notice warning of a counterclaim for damages, mover's fees, legal fees, and a separate civil suit for defamation based on Kayla's social media posts. "We have all the receipts, do you?" But there was only silence in response as they folded, signifying that it was over. The conclusion took an unexpected turn when Leslie, the girl from the gallery, reached out to me via email about 2 weeks ago. Her message was simple and kind. "Hey, I hope you're doing okay. Things got pretty messy here after Kayla left. Thought you might want to see this." Attached was a link to a public Facebook post written by Kayla's father. My heart sank with worry, fearing something terrible had happened. However, the post revealed a different narrative. In his long, sorrowful message, Kayla's father didn't mention me directly, but he expressed his heartbreak over his daughter leaving a good, stable man who had supported her dreams for a flashy fraud with a superficial lifestyle. He shared how the pressure of meeting Kayla's high expectations without my resources had ultimately strained the new relationship. Contrary to the image he projected, Russell was not a developer, but a commission-based agent living beyond his means, his flashy facade supported by debt and unstable income. The drama that Kayla brought with her had further exacerbated the situation. After being dismissed from her internship due to unprofessional behavior, news of the incident had spread to his professional circles. In an industry where reputation is paramount, being embroiled in a messy and potentially litigious situation was detrimental. This tarnished reputation led to a decline in his sales, causing financial strain. The situation escalated further when he and Kayla had a tumultuous breakup. In a recent social media post by her father, it was revealed that Kayla had to return home as she was left with no money, internship, or car, which was repossessed. Additionally, she had alienated most of her true friends. Her dreams of becoming a fine arts curator were shattered, replaced by the harsh reality of living in her childhood bedroom burdened by debt. The post concluded with a lament that Kayla had forsaken her dreams for something deceitful, and the repercussions were severe and unavoidable. Her inappropriate conduct and entitlement had irreparably damaged her professional standing, causing her internship and future opportunities in the local art community to vanish. Furthermore, her relationship with a superficial boyfriend ended due to financial difficulties, adding to her turmoil. She got nothing but a bill and the threat of a countersuit. Do I feel good? No, there's no joy in it. There's just a quiet, somber sense of order being restored. Justice isn't a lightning bolt, it's just gravity. I replied to Leslie and thanked her for reaching out. We had a brief, friendly exchange. It felt nice to have a normal conversation with someone connected to that part of my life. It was a reminder that not everyone is a predator. My life is mine only again. I'm focusing on my business and myself. I've learned to trust more slowly, to verify, and to understand that you can support someone's dream without making yourself the foundation they can kick away. I never heard from Kayla or Russell again. I have no idea what they're doing now, and I am finally truly okay with that. This is the end of the story.